Leinster and Bristol, 35 points to 12, folks. Champions Cup Sunday game over from Ashton Gate. Just watched that Monday morning here in New Zealand. To be honest, this one started at 6:30 in the morning. I woke up slightly after that time and I figured I would just have a sneaky look at the score to see if this game is worth watching. If it's a rout, then I won't bother. But I looked at my phone and it said 20 minutes are gone and it was 0-all. So I thought, okay, seems like we got a game. Well, she was a messy one in that first half. I can see why now that it was still 0-all. But we did get a bit of rugby breaking out towards the end of the first half and a flurry of Leinster tries in the second. But yeah, she was a scrappy one. The first half was basically just watch Bristol drop the ball and watch Leinster get penalised. But anyway, we'll go through some of the key events and the stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Pretty miserable conditions, to be fair. Not helpful for kind of flowing rugby at times. So, decent crowd there as well, given that it wasn't the kind of most pleasant weather for the fans to be out in. But they were certainly making themselves heard. Unfortunately for the Bristol fans, they saw McGinty go off pretty early. He got absolutely walloped. Fair hit, but just rough by Ringrose on McGinty, so he had to go off. They said HIA, but dude was holding his ribs because he had been absolutely smoked, so he goes off. But to be honest, apart from the McGinty injury, Bristol had the better of the opening play. They hit a 50-22 from a nothing kick from Henshaw. Henshaw just gifted them an opportunity to kick it straight back, and they did it, but they weren't able to get anything going from the resulting line-out. And then Leinster conceding a penalty at the scrum on their own 22 meant another chance for the Bristol boys, but Leinster's maul defence was pretty strong. So a couple of chances for Bristol gone early. You feel like, I don't know, if you're going to play a side which has made the last three Champions Cup finals, you probably want to get a wee sneaky lead. But to be fair, I mean, both sides were conceding penalties. At the breakdown, it was pretty messy. A lot was going on there. A lot was not getting picked up. But no one was opting for any threes because the conditions were not really conducive to the goal kicking, I suppose. And then Leinster, like some of the penalty stuff was pretty crazy. Like Kelleher ended up getting a yellow card from a team warning. That one wasn't too bad because, I mean, Gibson Park had gone up and tackled Bill Mata before the ball had come out of back of a scrum early. Ref was getting frustrated with the penalty count. But the Deegan one, for a trip, a minute later, so 2 yellow cards within 2 minutes for Leinster, was just shake your head stuff. I don't know what the Leinster coaches would have been saying, but he just tripped up Fitzharding from the ground. So, yeah, trying to be the masters of their own demise, I suppose. I mean, the ref is already pinging you like crazy at the breakdown and whatnot, and the scrum time. Scrums were so messy. Why do a trip? But anyway, 2 yellow cards in 2 minutes for Leinster. As I said, one a team one a bit of an individual cynical play. Bristol do manage to get through, punishing the 15v13 man advantage. Line out move, close range. Bill Mata close from the line-out move. And then next phase, Lahiff is able to power over. So 7 points to 0 to Bristol. 2-man advantage. Can they capitalise on the rest of this period where they'll have 2 extra men on the field? No. They will concede a try. So, I mean, just failing to take a kick-off. So many sides are bad at it. I'm not saying Bristol are bad at it. I don't watch enough Premiership, and apologies, I don't have a Bristol jersey. It's one of the few teams I don't actually have, so apologies I'm not rocking their gear, but or at least hanging their gear. But, yeah, you got to take your kickoffs. They didn't take it, and that ended up leading to, a lot of phases later, Jordan Lama going over for Leinster's first try of the game from a nice Prendergast dink through. So a bit of a brutal bounce for the Bristol guys, but, yeah, 7 points apiece. So you can't be conceding 7 points when you've just worked that hard to get 7 against 13-man Leinster. But good on Leinster for getting that done. Virtually no scrums completed in the first half. That is the end of the first half. I mean, possessions 56-44 to Bristol, but territory 61-39. At times you feel like Bristol just don't want to kick it. Their kicking numbers were only 9 in the first half despite the conditions, and they would continue to be a low kicking side in the second half as well. I was wondering if it was a wind factor, but So it stays kind of true with the second half as well. So 18-9 kicks in the first half with Leinster having double. Turnovers conceded 12-5. Geez, Bristol coughed up a lot of ball, and that would also continue. Penalty count was 9-3 against Leinster in that first half. Second half, another Leinster trip. That one was McCarthy. He didn't get yellow carded, fortunately. It was just a penalty, and then Geordie Barrett comes on. At least that's a bit of good news for the Leinster guys to see that guy get his first game, and he did all right. I mean, they were able to bring on the bomb squad, if you want to call it that, for Leinster not long later. You got Snyman, you got Porter, you got Doris all coming off the bench, but they immediately got pinged at scrum time, did Leinster, despite the fact that their bomb squad came on. And then the ref had enough of the messy scrums, which were just an abject failure pretty much the entire game. The ref called the captains over and said, if another one goes down, props are going to the bin. Next one goes down, two of the props went to the bin. Lahif and Porter both went to the bin. So, yeah, it was frustrating for fans. It was frustrating for the ref. It was frustrating for the players, I'm sure. But then, maybe that was the catalyst that got this game going. Seemingly, a bit of rugby broke out from a Leinster point of view anyway, because you got another try from second half, from a bit of stable scrum play. Almost unbelievable. You get a stable scrum for Leinster attacking on the Bristol 22. Ball goes out. Geordie Barrett to Prendergast. Prendergast, a wee couple of show and goes. He's able to cut the Bristol defence open to give themselves a 14-7 lead. First lead of the match for Leinster. Then another one. This one's Geordie Barrett not long later. They go through some phases. James Gibson Park pops it to an on-rush and Geordie Barrett. He has a show and go of his own. 21-7. And then it becoming a bit of a rout from their own half. Leinster. Archias Neyman with the big line break. Prendergast with the support line. He scores the try. 28-7. And then it gets even worse for Bristol when Josh van der Fleer gets held up. But the TMO comes and looks at it and says, actually, he's powered himself over the line. 35-7 in the matter of basically 12 minutes. It goes from being a 7-all messy game to a bonus point win for Leinster in no time. I guess is what they can do to you. To be fair, when Bristol could have collapsed and absolutely, conceded 40, 50, 60 points, they actually got themselves some ball. They did go wave after wave against Leinster's defence. They just found it very hard to crack. So they didn't stop trying. They did get one after Ibitoye kind of chased a kick through. He was able to get a consolation try to at least give the fans something to cheer about in that second half, but way too little too late. I thought I was going to be able to finish this game before I had to drop my kids at school. It was always going to be a close run thing, but then there was such a messy ending to the game. It's almost fitting that the game ended this way because there was an injury to Lahif who'd come on. So they had a lack of props, so they had to go out and contested scrums. So they had to work out how many Bristol players should be on the field. They had to sacrifice an extra player to go to uncontested scrums. It was messy, and then there was a quick line out taken by Bristol after they'd stopped one last Leinster attacking play. Seemingly took a quick line out on their own goal line. It was chaos stuff, but then the ref seemed to call offside, but none of the Bristol guys touched the ball. Doris came and grabbed the ball at the back of the ruck. He went over for a try, maybe, but then the ref was like, let me check if he's onside. I think the ref felt like he might have mucked up, so he said that Doris was offside. Doris said he wasn't offside, but the ref's going to have the final say there. The TMO seemed to be trying to tell him he was onside, but the ref was like, no, I got a decision. It was chaotic at the end, so there is no try given. Bristol keep playing. Eventually they kick the bloody thing dead, but even at the end, they seem to kick it out from a penalty, not on the full, which I would have thought, the commentary team said it as well, I would have thought that's game over. Because, if you tap it and kick it, it's game over, right? I would have thought if you kick it and it rolls out, it's game over. But anyway, maybe that's incorrect. Yeah, it's a bonus point win for Leinster. And which is a weird game. Barring this flurry of tries, there was a whole lot of mess. And to be fair, I should say, a good bit of Leinster defending when they were getting wave after wave thrown at them when we weren't watching scrums get reset. Possession finish at 55-45, so Bristol continue to want to play with ball in hand. Territory 56-44 to Leinster. they were still kicking the ball more, keeping themselves out of their own half, 23 kicks to 13, so still a kind of similar margin to that first half, not quite double. Line breaks 7-3 to Leinster. That's pretty telling about how it was tricky for one side to break the other's line, but not so the other way. 16 penalties to 8, double for Leinster. They were getting absolutely hammered, but still didn't matter because Bristol kept dropping the ball. 25 turnovers conceded. Is that the most I've ever seen? It's a lot. That is a lot of drop ball. 15, not just drop ball, but, lack of kind of careful play. 15 by Leinster is kind of normal-ish, but 3 yellow cards to 1. Bloody hell, what a weird game. Fitz Harding had 15 tackles. Josh van der Fleer got man of the match and made 16. He had 56 metres as well, plus a try. He's such a workhorse. Ebutoya, 77 metres. Prendergast, 66 metres. Conan, 6 defenders beaten. He got to March 10 at one point when they were conceding so many penalties and he was talking back, but weird game. Leinster are home to Clermont next, and Bristol doesn't get any easier, away to La Rochelle. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. As I said, it was a bit of a strange one, but it seems like the Champions Cup has been a bit of a strange one all round. I still need to catch up on some of the other games that were played, but this is the one I started my Monday morning with. Geordie Barrett, hey? Scores a try, sets up a try. Not a bad one from a Kiwi point of view. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.